online magazine. It's a big anti-war website. You check out the article. And in the article, Raimundo says, this is the end of Rand Paul. He says, I'm never going to support him. I'm finished. I'm done. I've had it. Down with Rand Paul for signing the 47 traitors. So finally, it seems the libertarians have their concrete reason, as if they needed it. But, they got it good to finally turn on Rand Paul. And if you have spent the last time, in the last years being duped by Rand Paul, it's time to convert. I mean, that's what I want to make. This Ron Paul issue has been confusing people for long enough. The leaders of this anti-American Austrian school are unsalvageable. I was saying a second ago, I deal with these guys all the time, but the rank and file, could repent, re-educate themselves, and follow the right historically accurate path.
The American system. The American system is there for all to see, and it's the opposite of most of what they say. My only fear is that the dogs will return to their vomit, right? Because this is Rand Paul. He endorsed Romney. Romney was the biggest warmonger, and he's done all these other things. So I don't know, but
maybe they just don't know that there's an American system, because after 9/11, they were all led into this shadow Netherland by these people thinking that that was the alternative to the mainstream Republicans, and they were anti-war because they were anti-interventionists, and many of them got confused, and I'm reaching out to those people.
Okay, let me ask you a question now. If we look at Austrianism and we look at Rand Paul, is this treachery rooted in the doctrine, or is it just a matter of the two individuals being corrupt?
It's not a matter.
You got 2 seconds.
Oh, it's not a matter of the individuals.
It's in the doctrine.
It's the doctrine. They're libertines.
They're libertines, right? Well, how can they be loyal to anything when they're loyal to their own pleasure or whatever it is, right? Their own id. It's the religion of the id.
Attention listeners, SurvivalLife.com is giving away free EverStrike permanent matches for a limited time only. These matches are waterproof and will light in any weather condition, rain, snow, or sleet. It will still throw a spark. Its built-in ferro rod strikes at 3,000 degrees, and it is good for 15,000 strikes. Normally, $15. Today, it's free. Get yours at freesurvivallighter.com. Again, that's freesurvivallighter.com. Hurry, supplies are limited. Visit freesurvivallighter.com today.
By now, you heard about Bitcoins, but did you know that over 65,000 businesses accept Bitcoins? Listen, if you're already earning Bitcoins or trying to make money in the Bitcoin market, you've got to know bidbit.co, because at bidbit.co, you can receive Bitcoin by selling your personal items or business products. You heard right. Whether personal or business, you can now buy, sell, and auction your products quickly, easily, and securely at bidbit.co. That's bit.co. bidbit.co.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey guy at goberkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey guy.
Hi, this is Steve Sanchez, and based on a recent study, it was found that 57 million Americans had legal issues over the last 12 months, but only 60% of those studied sought out the services of a lawyer. Why? In a nutshell, affordability. Well, my friends at Legal Shield have created a solution that can help you not if, but when you need an attorney. For as little as $17 per month, Legal Shield will provide you unlimited access to qualified attorneys at an accomplished law firm for advice and counsel on legal issues, no matter how serious or trivial. For over 40 years and with 1.4 million families across North America, Legal Shield can help you, the loyal GCN listener. Representatives are standing by now to answer your questions, so call them now at 1-855-340-SAVE. That's 1-855-340-7283, or visit them at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com.
Results will vary from case to case.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Here is what one doctor has to say about Extendovite.
I would like to thank you, Don, for making my job so much easier, because your products just make it so simple, right? To fool around with a lot of exotic things that don't work, we can just put them on your product and things start to work almost right away. I've had dozens of patients with heart problems who have corrected them, and what it's doing, there's so much garlic in there that has a yeast-killing effect. The yeast is a big problem in the gut, pushes the liver hard. It also has metal-chelating effect, and most of the other herbs in there I find that strengthen the arteries. They help to neutralize free radicals. Your remedy close to what we do in our program as you can get as far as one supplement goes. It's working on the gut, it's working on the liver, it's working on the arteries. What more can you ask for?
To get your Extendovite, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Not just an alternative to the mainstream media. We're the premier independent talk radio network. We are G.
Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Now we have a special honor, and I hope we're welcoming someone that will be able to call on as a very valuable resource in the weeks and months to come. A lot of the legal work in the Pinckney case has actually been benefiting from the excellent advice of Jeffrey Jackson. And Jeffrey Jackson, Esquire, he's a lawyer operating out of Texas. He is a Texas foreclosure defense attorney who has been fighting the Wall Street banks as his day job, and he's been functioning as legal consultant to the tax Wall Street party. And I would just want to sum it up. I've heard him talk about the work he's done keeping people in their homes and defending them from these predatory and indeed illegal, outrageous foreclosures. If you know that movie, It's a Wonderful Life, there's a scene at one point where they need money for their bank, and the room is full of people. It's the lobby of a bank, and people look at Jimmy Stewart, right? Jimmy Stewart being the head of the sort of the people's banking operation, and they start saying, "He saved my house. I wouldn't have a life if it hadn't been for him." And one of these days, there's going to be some kind of a testimonial dinner, which is going to be filled with people who are celebrating the work of Jeffrey Jackson, his day job, keeping them in their homes. He's somebody who has saved the homes and the families of a lot of people, and there's a tremendous amount of gratitude out there, and we share it because he's been helping again with these questions of Pinckney. So welcome to Jeffrey Jackson, speaking to us from Dallas?
Houston.
Houston, I'm sorry. Houston.
Yes,
terrible mistake, but Houston.
That's all right, Webster. Thank you very much. That's a very kind introduction.
Well then, you're really the first attorney, right? First actual lawyer that we've had on the program to talk about the prosecution against Reverend Pinckney. If in the few minutes we have, maybe you just give us an overall legal impression from an experienced professional, why this prosecution is flawed and wrong.
Yes. I've had the opportunity to review the motions on file in that case, particularly the post-trial motions, which get into all of the different reasons why the trial court should reverse that verdict that came down and either let Reverend Pinckney go free or at minimum give him a new trial. And there are several different reasons why the verdict, in my opinion, should be set aside and Reverend Pinckney either set free or this motion for new trial granted. The most egregious one, I would say, would be the lack of evidence actually presented at that trial. Now, the transcript has not been made, and I have not read the transcript, obviously, but by all accounts, from people who I have spoken with, including Reverend Pinckney, Reverend Pinckney's trial counsel, and others who sat in on the trial, the evidence offered was completely circumstantial. Essentially, the evidence in that trial was that Pinckney circulated petitions that have the appearance of some altered dates on just a few of those signatures. Two, that Reverend Pinckney had exclusive control, or never had exclusive control, over the petitions with the altered dates at any given time. That Pinckney was involved in submitting the petitions to the county clerk, and that Reverend Pinckney has actively exercised his rights to petition in the past. Now, the key to that is that there doesn't appear to have ever been a witness who testified that Reverend Pinckney altered dates, that they witnessed Reverend Pinckney alter dates. There was no video, for instance, that Reverend Pinckney showed him altering any dates. There were no pictures showing that Reverend Pinckney altered any dates. So essentially, the case relied upon the mere circumstance that he was leading the effort and that he possessed the petitions with the allegedly altered dates when he submitted them to the county clerk. And there is ample support in jurisdictions across the nation, including Michigan, that mere possession of a forged document is in fact no evidence that the possessor of that document actually forged it. And to take it to the next level, possession of a forged document is no evidence that the possessor aided and abetted the forgery. So if it turns out that this is really all that the prosecution showed in this trial, it would in my mind not rise to the level of beyond a reasonable doubt, and I have serious questions as to whether it would even rise to the level of probable cause to believe that Reverend Pinckney altered these dates. Other than the sufficiency of the evidence issue, I would go to what I would say would be the next most egregious, if you will, tactic brought here by this prosecutor Sepik, and that is that they charged him with a felony instead of a misdemeanor. There is a rule of statutory interpretation called the rule of lenity. And this basically what this rule says is if you have two criminal statutes that seem to proscribe or prohibit the same conduct, and they both are vague enough that they can be read to prohibit the same criminal conduct, that you have to charge the defendant with the lesser charge, with the statute that proscribes the lesser penalty. And in this particular case, these two statutes, and the felony one being MCL 168.937, the misdemeanor one being 168.932C, they both are vague, in my opinion, and they both proscribe the same criminal conduct, yet the prosecutor charged Reverend Pinckney under the felony. To add insult to injury, just a couple of months before Reverend Pinckney's trial, a case came out from the Michigan Court of Appeals called People v. Hall. And People v. Hall directly addressed this issue involving another defendant in another Michigan county who had allegedly altered recall petitions. And they said, because the petition forms that are handed out in this case, handed out to Reverend Pinckney and his followers, because those forms have a warning that only mentions the misdemeanor statute and not the felony statute, that you can only charge someone who is accused of altering petition dates